Madakiasen. I have a little bit of something I would like to share. Not even sure what to call it. And it's something that I've been taking notice of since claiming my veteran status. I didn't claim my veteran status for many, many years. I just found out a fellow sister hadn't claimed hers for many, many years. We came from the same time area where back in the late 80s, women were being, some parts of the military had just opened up for women. So we were pathfinders, so to speak. And because of some things that had taken place, we just didn't choose to claim our veteran status. Well, we are now. And so part of my kind of did this experiment with saying, or asking, hey, you give a veteran discount. Well, it's really interesting the places that do and the places that don't. The ones that do, typically, not always, but typically, are not your corporate. They are your small businesses, your family places, family-owned businesses. And even like in hotels and so forth, or campgrounds, usually, they are not necessarily American owned, or the managers are recent United States citizenship. I'm not going to say American. Sorry, I'm correcting myself there. United States citizens. Recently. So I just found that very, very interesting. You go to these bigger businesses, corporations, mega places, they don't offer a veteran discount. Interesting. So this came to the forefront for me today. I found myself this warrior, not necessarily peaceful warrior. This coming up through me. And I'll give a little context with that. Absolutely beautiful, gorgeous morning. Intuition all afternoon is just this. Whoa, and I lay back into Shavasana and I had fallen asleep and I got this overwhelming pull or push going, I need to go back to the grocery and get a couple more items and utilize the veteran discount. Okay, so this is what was interesting. My first run through, I received the sale items, plus I show my veteran, my card, and hey, it's Veterans Day, veteran discount, and this young cashier, gave me the discount, and I was like, yeah, that's right. They had mentioned on Veterans Day was one day of the year that they give a veteran discount, right? Okay. Which, I'm like, okay, it's corporate, but maybe not corporate in that one day of the year they're going to offer a veterans discount. So it rang true. So I was like, oh, I need to go and pick up these couple of other items and, accept and allow this opportunity of a veteran discount. Well, this time, I transferred the funds and I run up there and stayed very focused on picking up these couple of items and ringing it up in my head and going, yes, this is going to work, and not given the discount. And I'm like, sir, I was in here earlier and I was given the discount. It's Veterans Day. I'm a veteran. Ma'am, it's not going through. The code's not coming up. And so he got a little bit frustrated and went over to the service desk and he's like, we don't do that. And I'm like, I received it earlier. And he's like, ma'am, I don't know what to tell you. And so I went ahead and paid, and I felt this coming up in me. And I step on outside, and I found myself uttering some words and saw some security cameras and, flung the bird a couple of times with some not so graceful words, and was like, I am just so done with these big business places. I'm just so done. And as soon as the words come out of my mouth and I'm witnessing myself doing this, I'm like, no, I need to shift this. I need to shift this. I need to shift this. And then having that little bit of regret, well, like, I'll go to the other grocery store, no big deal. I can do that. And yet but there's certain products that this particular store has that I'm like, I really love and appreciate. And I'm like, what did I do to myself? So there's this, right? And then I listen to the planetary alignments, my little astrology, and going, oh, I had both the and then I have the and now I'm in the Trinity piece, right? It's not either or, it's how do we utilize this and alchemize this to bring ourselves to a grounded yet constructive and creative, yet and honor the anger piece, and that it's not black, it's not white, it's gray. It's not this or that, it's the middle road. The middle road. So can't say I'm completely there yet. However, what I have come to a conclusion within myself is I really, really appreciate being honored as a veteran, yet at the same time, there are so many veterans out there that are not necessarily United States military veteran. They are a veteran for animal rescue, being a warrior for the animals, being a warrior for the women, being a warrior for the indigenous, being a warrior for the children, being a warrior for the disabled, being a warrior for being a twin flame, the way we term it is a twin spirit. They're a woman in a man's body or a man in a woman's body. They walk between the two worlds. There are warriors for spirit and acknowledging the higher power. There are warriors for being an addict in different ways. There are warriors for so many different things. Right? Veterans. So at the same time, it's I don't know. I guess the difference, maybe the difference is when you go into, when you sign on that dotted line and you're giving your entire life. Of course, we do that in many ways. But in this particular situation, maybe it's because you don't know if you're coming back the same person. You're taking of course, there's so many different ways to offer your life. Offer and that is one that I honestly believe is no longer necessary. None of them really are. However, we do take a stand when we come into this life. Maybe we're being called to take a stand for something. I'm going down several other rabbit holes beyond the rambling that I wanted to share, which was basically, you ask somebody to sign on the dotted line and give their life, and you call us a veteran in this United States military government thing. And corporations, well, you make a hell of a lot of profit. And to offer a discount on one day out of the year, you know, it ought to be every day like a lot of the other small businesses, because they understand what a privilege it is. A little bit of your profits going back to the people who fight and sign the dotted line is, wow. And it's so easy to do. Anyway, thank you for listening.